Okay, welcome to Module 3, and we get to talk about science. I love science. We're going to just talk about the basics of the nervous system and learn the language of the nervous system. And this is actually one of the more powerful things we can do when reconnecting with the body, I think, because the more we understand what's actually happening inside of us, like the less personal it feels, right? When like our systems feel stuck or shut down, or things are very stressful or hard, right? So this video is going to lay the groundwork, pun intended, for everything else that comes after. All right, so let's get into it. First, what's the nervous system? You can think of your nervous system as your body's communication and response center. It takes information from the world around you, like in through your senses, hearing, sight, touch, right? And then also from inside the body, right? We talked about interoception. That's a real scientific thing. It's the senses coming from your organs, your tissues, your muscles. And the nervous system then decides, am I safe? Am I in danger? Do I need to act? Or can I rest and repair? But this all happens fast, like before your thinking brain can weigh in. And that's because your nervous system is built for survival first. You'll notice this as a theme that I talk about all of the systems in the body, especially during this module. We are just built to survive. And like, thank goodness I'm here. But before you're even aware of, like, consciously of what's happening, your body is making adjustments and decisions based on how safe or unsafe it feels all the time. So this is key. The body responds to perception, not logic. It takes in information and makes a decision before you think about the information. All right? So you might like know you're okay. Like you could look around and be like, yeah, duh, I'm fine. But your nervous system may not feel safe. And that could come from past patterning. That could be from picking up on things that you weren't picking up on. That could be from like even thoughts that are happening. I don't want to get into that. Ooh, we'll save that. We'll save that. That's a tangent. Bottom line though, if your nervous system doesn't feel safe, your body will react. All right, so let's talk about a branch of the nervous system. It's called the autonomic nervous system, the ANS. The autonomic nervous system is part of the nervous system that runs automatically, automatically. So definitely without conscious control, without you thinking about it. And it controls things like your heart rate, your digestion, your breathing, your immune response, and even your hormones. And the autonomic nervous system has two branches. We have the sympathetic branch of the autonomic nervous system. That is known as like the activating, the fight or flight response you probably have heard about. The sympathetic branch is what kicks in when your body thinks there's a threat. Your heart rate will elevate, your breath goes more shallow, right? We start breathing through the chest instead of that belly breath. Your blood moves to your muscles. You get a surge of energy, which might feel like anxiety, but it's meant to make you do something, to fight or flight, run, react to something. It's survival mode. And it's not bad. It's 1000% essential. We just weren't meant to live here, like chronically, okay? And then we have the other branch. It's called the parasympathetic nervous system. That is regulation, recovery, rest, and digest is often how it's referred to. And then there's a nuance though to the parasympathetic, because there's actually two branches of this one too. One is one we want to build more access to, and that's feeling grounded and connected and resilient and regulated, right? The other is what happens when we completely shut down. It's known as the dorsal response. And that is like a freeze, a collapse, or like a numbing response. Okay, so if you have been exposed to trauma, traumatic events, complex trauma, that dorsal response may be more active in you than if you haven't. Okay, so just put a pin in that. Okay, so nervous system states are not just like ideas. You actually feel these different states in your body. They'll shape your posture, like whether you're kind of closed in or you're open chested. They'll change the tone of your voice. They change your thoughts. Yeah, remember, because you're getting a lot of information up through here. It's part of the sensory experience, sensory information rather, that your brain takes in is coming from it's brain and body always talking to each other. Okay, your ability to connect with people is something that a nervous system state will affect, right? Like the ability to look in someone's eyes. They definitely affect your emotions, and they'll even affect the beliefs you have about yourself. So let me state that again. Your nervous system state directly influences how you think, how you feel, and what you believe is possible. When you're in a survival state, right, sympathetic activation, your thoughts get faster and more anxious and more reactive, right? You will interpret like very neutral things as threatening, because you're be vigilant at all times. Again, it's a survival thing. You're making sure that everything's okay all the time. So you might assume that people are judging you, or that you're about to fail at something, or that like everything is urgent and it can't wait. So much of this described me for so many years. What about if you're in freeze or shutdown? You might feel like everything's pointless. Like you might feel numb. You might just be checking out all the time, unmotivated. Maybe you're wondering, like, what's the point? Why can't I do anything right? But that's not who you are. Like, it's just a state, right? And here's the wild part. Most of us are trying to change our lives from inside one of these dysregulated states. Like, we're trying to make decisions and set up boundaries and show up differently in our lives because the ideas of those things sound really, really good. We really want to do them. But if your biology is stuck in survival, you literally cannot do it. This is why this work matters so much. Because when you can recognize what state you're in and bring like awareness to it and care to it, you stop fighting it. You stop fighting yourself. And you can stop thinking you're broken. You can stop blaming your lack of motivation or your anxiety or your people pleasing. And those things no longer are who you are. You just start understanding, oh, my nervous system doesn't feel safe right now. And that's something we can work with. So in this video, we covered what each of these states feel like, and then maybe some of the clues and how to recognize them as they are presented in your life or in your body. Because the more awareness that we have around our states, the more possibility we have in how we can respond, right? So in the next video, we're going to take that further, and we're going to talk about what regulation actually is. You hear a lot of nervous system regulation, right? And it's not calm, but capacity. Because being regulated isn't about never being activated. It's actually about staying connected when you do. And we'll go into that next.